All right, so Frost. This is a very large map. I would have to put this one a little Protoss favor just because Zerg, they like to get that early attack in, do a bit of damage, and it's a lot harder when there's so much distance between the two bases.
Definitely. And we have spawning in our bottom right-hand corner as our pink no, this is blue. Our blue Protoss, Mr. Dihn.
And over in the top right corner is the pink Zerg. This player is pink, Jamplifier.
So they have a vertical spawn, so they are closer than they would be otherwise, diagonally. I believe it's the same vertically and horizontally, so they have the closest distances they could get on the map.
Yes, I'm not really sure, but it would be interesting to see if cross spawn is disabled for this map. I've played a few games on the ladder, and I have not yet found a cross spawn opponent yet.
Usually it's cross spawn only is how they'll have. I've never seen one that's prevented cross spawns.
Yeah, or maybe it's just not as likely since that's one position and the other two are. In other words, it's a 66% chance that they're not cross spawn.
Yeah. So we have two pylons a little early for the supply. Definitely needs to work on the build orders a little bit, but he does have a gateway this time instead of cannons with the forge. We do have Jamplifier sending out a drone to kind of scout which direction his opponent is in, and unfortunately it was the wrong direction this time.
However, we do see a very early spawning pool out of Jamplifier. I believe that was a 6 pool. It is already completed, and 6 Zerglings have just spawned.
Ho ho ho!
This is a very risky strategy considering how Mr. Dihn opened in the last game. And there is quite a long trek for those Zerglings ahead.
Yeah, they're bouncing along in their special little skin. The skin's actually pretty cool looking. It looks like these Zerglings are actually headed diagonally, unfortunately.
Oh, they're going straight to the cross spawn.
And he's just now seeing, oh, they're pulled back just as the Overlord catches sight of that pylon. They're running over there as fast as they can. Is anything up? It looks like there is not even a Zealot up, so this is actually going to be spelled really early disaster. Those Zerglings are already at the ramp.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Mr. Dihn to hold this off, especially with that delay in worker creation.
And there they go into the worker line. Yeah, he was not expecting a rush at all.
No. And this is a little surprising considering how good of a I don't want to say transition, but how good Jamplifier was in that last game to modify his own playstyle to deal with what Mr. Dihn was putting out.
Definitely. So he wanted to be able to get that out before any cannons got up, and since there were no cannons this time, it actually made it even easier just to kind of stomp in there. It looks like he's going to chase these workers across the map.
Oh man, and the joke might be on Jamplifier here because while Mr. Dihn's leading him on a wild goose chase, he's actually making probes back home, trying to get his economy going again, even without those workers.
Yeah, but there's still way too many here. I think it's gonna still put him too far ahead. He did it just spawned a bunch of larvae, and he's gonna be able to make more. He's stacking quite a bit, so I don't know if he plans on expanding at this point, but he needs to go back into Mr. Dihn's base and just finish off the Nexus to make sure this game is done.
Yeah, Mr. Dihn, on the other hand, did a great job, leading those Zerglings away. Jamplifier, he just needs to, learn to focus and maybe pull that Overlord into the mineral line to make sure more workers aren't being created.
Yeah, and there are 3 probes that are just kind of traveling along the map. There's nothing chasing them, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing. It actually looks like he's going straight for Jamplifier's base. There's no forge, so it's not going to be oh, there's the forge. He's actually going to try to do some cannoning, but he doesn't have the income to really support this.
And Jamplifier has seen the forge. He can see that being built, so he knows that there are probes in this base.
There are Zerglings now checking every corner of the map just to make sure there's not something else out there. They definitely know there's not. Looks like he hit F2 and it's pulling them all back to one central location, back to Mr. Dihn's base to make sure that he gets rid of that forge as fast as possible.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining to look at that mini-map and just see global mobilization from all those Zerglings, all heading to that one point. If Mr. Dihn could see the whole mini-map from Jamplifier's perspective, I'm sure he would have gotten just a little bit scared.
Yeah, and there's another batch of Zerglings on the way, so definitely I think this game is going to be another one for Jamplifier at this point with his 6-full. One Zergling's going to run into the mineral line and just kind of have a one-on-one fight with the probes. The probes, they're not even attacking, they're giving up on life at this point.
Jamplifier learned a bit from the last time. He keeps a few Zerglings in the base to finish off all these buildings. And in the meantime, he has a separate force chasing down the probes. And a YOLO from Mr. Dihn. Well, these probes definitely only lived once.
I always wonder what those are actually made of. If they have souls of Protoss, or I need to learn more about the Protoss lore. I think that would be a pretty entertaining thing to do.
I believe they have souls, and the Protoss, their souls get beamed into the bodies. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I remember something like that during the campaign.
And as soon as this forge goes down, it will be GG.
And game 2 goes to Ignition's Jamplifier. He will be moving